Which
like
part? The last part of
all of it.
the last part of high school?
Yeah, they like when you talk about fucking education.
Do they?
They really do.
So.
No, they do.
I don't think they do.
No, they like when we talk about education.
So
Uncle Scully.
my philosophy on high school, your last year in high school, they should not be teaching you anything that has to do with the basics. No math, no reading, no writing, none of that stuff, because you've been doing that for 12 years. If you don't have it by 12th grade, you're not going to get it in the next year. What they should be doing is they should be forcing every college or every 12th grader to go through some sort of skill set that could really get them a job in the real world. They should have to go to auto shop, welding, woodworking, cooking, anything like any of those classes specific that teach you something that you can actually do and produce. That's what they should be doing in 12th grade, not any of this other bullshit. Because that's why you have all these kids that cannot get a job, because they don't have any, schools do not teach you any skill sets. You have to actually physically go out and force yourself to get a skill set. It's like auto shop. Well, some people will look down on auto shop, but a good automotive mechanic will make $85 an hour.
Easy.
There is no reason to snub your nose at that. So they should be teaching that stuff in school, but they don't. Schools don't care about. Schools do not care if you have the tools necessary to survive in the real world. What they are teaching you to do is continue on in education, so you will go to college and you will spend all that money to get a degree in something that will do you no good in the real world.
Like a business.
You're going to amass fucking $100
And
to
you-
$250,000 in
And you're going to have
payments. You're going to have to. The system owns you. That's what it's all about. It's not. They're not worried about what you produce for them. They want you to fucking owe them, and that's what it's always been. And back to the mechanic thing. A good mechanic making 85. Fuck, a lot of them make way more than that.
Yeah.
That job costs this much, and that mechanic gets paid this much for that job. If that mechanic hustles and he's not a shitbag, he can do 3 of those jobs within that hour. But he still gets paid for the hours. Just like talking to your lawyer or your doctor. Your lawyer's fucking $1,000 an hour. I get billed $1,000 if I talk to him 15 minutes. Fucking, I pick that fucking telephone up. I don't get. It's not a fraction of the hour. You get billed in fucking blocks if you have a good fucking attorney. I mean, and it's the same thing with any of the other. If you hustle, but it's just like anything else. There's fucking 50% of the people doing 75% of the work within any business everywhere. We have.
I'd say it's even worse than that.
It probably is, because
They say statistically it's 80-20.
that makes
20%
sense.
is pulling 80% of the work.
Our girls are good, but we've got 5 of them that literally do over half of the work of all of the production. It's just like when I stand there at that table, we got fucking 3 kids standing there cutting and clipping. If I stand there at the table, they do 5 times as much shit because they do their job when I'm standing there. It's just fucking babysitting. Let's show this. So it's Ryan Soze, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are those wallets at? Anyone?
Celtic Shields
Yeah.
Celtic Shields, right there, John. Right there
on the cart.
roller cart.
Got it. Okay, so I believe, I might be wrong on this, I believe he was a Ranger, prior service. I believe he did 12 years in the Army. Ryan Soze, or Soze, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name.
SOZ.
Somebody is going to get this open one. I'm going to buy this. And what he builds, and it's packaged very nicely. We had him package ours. We lasered the caulk on there. So his capability, and he was easy. I'm like, hey, let's laser this on there. I don't know, we've never done it. Fucking 2 hours later, he's like, here's a sample. So easy to work with if you guys want something custom done, or if you have a business and you want something done. We did, I think, 24 pieces. We had him camouflage them. This is not lasered. It's an anodizing process in multiple colors. There's very few people within the United States apparently that do it. It's modular. He's got different clips that go on the back. He has a holder that will hold the challenge coin it'll lock into. It's very neat. You open it up, you put your cards in, you push them out, pull them out the other side. I think it holds like 10 debit cards or something. Anyway, RFID blocking, very fucking cool. just a aluminum machine modular wallet. So he's plugging along. We've been hearing about him over and over. He does a lot of business with friendly companies that we do business with. We see his shit all over Instagram. He reached out to us, sent us some stuff for Christmas, sent Amanda and myself one. He did a hot pink one for her, which was cool because it got our attention. We knew who he was, but we had no intention of actually doing anything, and that spurred it. Well, he's been running for a couple of years, and he makes a post on our private page today. He says, "Hello, gents. So honestly, am I wrong in this situation? A chick tries to purchase a wallet, but fills the email contact out wrong. We try to contact her about the order, and it gets rejected. She cries and starts threatening me. Now my first bad review. Miss Ann Lee is her name." So they start looking at her Facebook page, and they find, "I've never received such unprofessional, sarcastic, and rude email responses by customer service rep before in my life. And it was due to their neglect on my order, and furthermore neglected on the refund that..." And we don't see the other screenshot piece. Now what she fails to do is put up the rude emails. I would think if she had some rude emails, she would have posted them as supporting evidence. I don't know. Then she says, "This is ridiculous. Your email upset me greatly. I see no signs of urgency, apology, or other answers, any answers to my order status. I want a refund. If I don't hear from you by tomorrow, I'm calling my bank." And then it goes over to never received such unprofessional neglect refund. I'm sure the rep is the owner as well, seeing that she is not scared to get fired from such service they promoted.
And then he commented back.
Yeah, I do see that. Wow, our first bad review. Just to clarify, why is this not loading? Just to clarify, you placed the order but didn't fill out the contact sheet correctly. We attempted to contact you via email. That there was a return email. Our fault, quotation mark or parentheses, no, but we tried to contact you. So it starts going. They find her Facebook page, and just like, what should I do? And the general consensus is, bring the attention out, make it public, show both sides of the story, and post your emails, which we always do. We post the emails up. So if she had some rude emails, I would have thought she'd have copy and pasted them. But what they start finding is she has a bunch of photos. Let's just show. She wanted to be famous, and she has now locked her Facebook page up. That is her. There are 100 photos on her Facebook page like this. Show a few more here, and then we'll go back to the surprising one.
You're now famous.
This looks to be her Instagram page. Definitely not unattractive, just a little fucking cunt. Here's her doing her patriotic duty.
A little America photo.
Little America. So, she is at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. So we're thinking, okay, maybe she's a dependent or something. Also not the case. What we find is she is actually in the Army. She is an E6 after, I believe, 12 years. She is an E6. And she is with PSYOPs. She is a staff sergeant. A staff sergeant after 12 years. Real shitbird. E6 all the way. And some guys made a bunch of posts on here. And she is, in fact, this is her uniform. So she has locked down her page after talking all this shit. Thought she would try to damage Ryan's company. And a bunch of people, literally hundreds of people, jumped on it and jumped on her Facebook page, started making comments. She has made her page private. You can no longer find it. But, what's on the internet stays on the internet, and there are a bunch of screenshots. So we just thought we would go ahead and show this. But there is her uniform right there. And that is also her, is that her Instagram page, I'm guessing?
That's her Instagram.
So there's an interesting thing about military personnel and what they can and can't not do. And I didn't know this, but this has gone back a decade at least.
Yeah, it's been 10 years, at least 10 years since it happened.
So,
shit, it's been longer than that.
Jeff's going to tell you a little thing that happened to a very fucking Very powerful man, actually.
Still very powerful.
Runs the battlefield right now.
Yeah, running the battlefield. So I had an interesting job. I was working at a place called SOTG, and we had a gunny that was running things over there. And this is right after Somalia happened. A video came out. I think it was called Death from Afar or something.
That was the book series. They might have done.
Yeah, it wasn't Death
because
from Afar.
you and
Hayes are in there.
Mitchell's in there too, isn't he?
I think
Travis?
he is too.
Yeah.
But it's a movie that came out. It was this is how old it was. It was VHS. It was 2 VHS tapes, and there was an individual on there. They were doing like campfire stories, and there was a former Marine in there who was telling stories as if he was in Mogadishu. So as if he was in Somalia, he was telling these stories, and he was talking shit about some of the equipment the Marine Corps was using at the time, which at the time was the state-of-the-art equipment. So there wasn't anything better out there at that time. And so he's talking some shit and talking about some action that he did in Somalia at the time. Well, this gunny, we're all watching it, and you know we have to watch. We're watching the videos, and it's pretty hokey if you ever get a chance to see it. But we're watching it, and he's like, "Man, there was only 2 battalions that went ashore. Really, it could only be 1-9 or 3-4. It wasn't anybody from 5th Marines. 5th Marines was there first, but it could only be those 2 battalions." And so I was in 1-9. I'm like, he was not in our battalion. I don't know the kid. And so Gunny does a little more digging and finds out he was in 3-4 and that he was not a sniper. So in the Marine Corps, if you're not a sniper and you're in a sniper platoon, you're a pig. If you're a sniper, you're called a hog. So this kid was still a pig. And come to find out that he didn't go ashore. He stayed on the ship. And most of the stories he was regurgitating were stories that the snipers told when they came back. But they were like half-truths, and he was telling them as if they were his stories. So this gunny decides, you know what, I'm going to write a letter to the producers of this video and just let them know that, hey, this guy's full of shit. And, you know, it was a very tasteful, this is who this individual is, this is what he actually did during this time period, he wasn't actually a scout sniper, blah, 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 we just want you to know. Not like a cease and desist or nothing, just saying, hey, you're putting this video out, and this guy is saying stuff that's technically not true. About 2 weeks go by. Gunny gets a call that he's got to go see the colonel. It's like, you know, I never go see the colonel. SOTG, you never really saw the colonel unless he was coming through to shake hands or whatever, promote somebody. So I never have to go see the colonel. So he goes to the colonel. The colonel had gotten a call from the commandant of the Marine Corps. Apparently, this company that produced the video sent the letter to Headquarters Marine Corps. Headquarters Marine Corps gets this letter, look at it, and the commandant of the Marine Corps calls to chew Gunny out about this letter. Apparently, as military personnel, you cannot use your position or post to deny anyone the ability to make a living out in the real world, even if what they're doing is unethical, not true, or full of shit. So he got a little letter of caution for sending this letter out, and had to send an apology letter. I believe he had to do an apology letter. Had to send an apology letter to the individual for defamation of character or something like that, even though everything the guy said wasn't true. So, and I don't know if she's done this yet, but from a military perspective, she cannot use her position to say, hey, she can't go, hey, I'm an E6 in the Army and this company sucks. Can't do that. It's illegal. Can't deny somebody outside the ability to make a living because of your military experience. So, if she's doing this, she's kind of fucked. She can get in trouble from her command, really.
And even if she doesn't do that, depending on how the letter is written, she can still get in trouble from her command. You know how that shit goes. Mm-hmm. How long has Gunny been in now?
Fuck. Honestly, I thought Gunny was retired. This is funny. I thought he was retired. He's a sergeant major in the Marine Corps now. And he has got to be It has to have been 30 years.
Dang.
He's 30 plus. He's commander. I don't know if he still is. As of 2 years ago, he was. Yeah, he might not be there anymore. I need to look him up. But he was sergeant major in charge of all forces in Afghanistan. Total badass. Was my fucking senior drill instructor. Was my senior drill instructor when I went through boot camp, and he was a badass then. Already had a silver star for. What did he get a silver star for? I can't remember what it was. But he was already, Force Recon Marine. Just total badass. One of the best Marines that you could ever achieve to be. The way Gunny Booker ran his stuff, he was fair, he was hard, but he was a great leader. I mean, he was awesome. Good times and bad. The one thing about leadership is what a lot of people don't understand. It's really, really easy to be a leader when everything is going good. But when something gets fucked up and one of your troops or whatever is getting thrown to the wolves and is on the mat, a lot of those good leaders disappear. They're getting their car washed or they're at lunch. They disappear real quick. Did I already say his name?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. I'll tell you this, Sergeant Major Booker, good and bad, he was always there. Not saying he was going to get you out of trouble, but he was standing right next to you, and if he was going to tell the CO good and bad, but he's a great fucking Marine. And not to leave you out, Sergeant Major Skiles, you're a good Sergeant Major too. But
So where's Booker now?
I can't. Every time
What's the last we knew?
last we knew he was in charge of all forces in Afghanistan. Every time I say, so for the last, this is no shit, for the last 6 years, people have been asking me, where's Sergeant Major Booker? I'm like, oh man, he's got to be retired.
All right.
He's got to be retired because he was a damn.
He put you through fucking
yeah.
boot camp.
Yeah, he put me. He was a staff. He was my senior drill instructor in boot camp. He's got to be retired.
They didn't have that B-billet shit back then. You know that motherfucker volunteered to fucking
I
be a
think
drill
Booker
instructor.
was volunteer told just because he had a pretty good stack of salad when not a lot of people had a lot of medals back then. So they want those guys at the drill field. But yeah, Sergeant Major Booker. Knowing him, he's still in. He's probably holding on. He's probably trying to figure out how he can hold on to be Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, which, if you have to vote, you need to vote for Sergeant Major Booker for Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. But I'm guessing he's retired, though.
How many years in do you think he had?
He's got to have at least, well, I did 20.
Right.
He had to have been at least 8 years ahead of me, at least. So I'm guessing he's at 32 by now. 36, maybe?